Welcome to The Basement Dweller with your host, Jacob Santoro, aka your favorite man-child.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 6 of The Basement Dweller. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I have with me a longtime associate, I guess. I don't know. I've never really seen you outside of the store, but I've known him for about 7 years now. I have Joe Weber on. Thanks for coming on, bud.
Thanks for having me.
Did I say your name wrong?
No, you said it right.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I don't think we're friends yet.
Okay, cool.
Acquaintances? I don't know.
Yeah, acquaintances. It's all right. See, I already messed it up, and I didn't even have your mic on, but you're totally fine. So, hey, welcome
I think
again.
we're doing well.
Yeah, we're doing fantastic, dude. Thanks for coming on today. Gonna be super fun. I just wanted to, kind of to talk about the stuff that we kind of have in common. First and foremost, for actually a lot of people who have been listening, that they've been telling me they, like us, we play Magic the Gathering, big part of our lives, especially you. I mean, it's kind of your bread and butter,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to delve into that, but first kind of wanted to bring into young baby Joe, before you were a shop owner, and kind of talk about when you were kind of how you found the game, so to speak. Do you remember?
Magic?
Yeah, Magic.
So, I started playing when I was about 15.
Okay.
The Dark had just come out.
Okay.
And revised.
Oh, wow. So that's what, 1995?
Yep.
Okay.
I think I was a junior in high school.
Oh my God. Can I be honest with you? I thought you were a lot younger than that.
I'm 42.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would
good,
never.
right?
Yeah, you look fantastic, dude. I would have never assumed. So okay.
Is that vegan diet?
Are you vegan?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
How long?
A million years. I don't know.
Right. Just since like you were young.
It's like 20s.
Okay. Don't miss anything about.
I mean, I miss the taste of meat. Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's so interesting. Why'd you say that? I want to talk about that now too.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We got a little time.
So you said the Dark and revised. So that's about 95, 94.
Yeah. Revised and the Dark were the Dark was I think $2 a pack, and revised was $2.50 a pack.
Jeez, old man. God, that is crazy. What is that now? A pack?
I mean, I think MSRP is around $4.50 now. So I mean, it hasn't really gone up that much.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Inflation.
Right. It's how it is. Okay. Fuck. I was. A year and a half then. I was
How
a year
old
and a
are
half. I'm 26. I was 94. I was born in 94. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Now I feel like I'm gonna be like, I remember when Ixalan came out, and they're like, all right, Grandpa, it's time to go to bed. Like, you gotta.
That's true.
That's funny. So you pick up then. So what made, like, did you have friends that played it?
I'm from upstate New York.
Okay.
Probably 45 minutes to the nearest LGS when I was a kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I played with my friends. I was usually beating them pretty handily.
Okay.
So I wanted to compete more, so I started playing in tournaments.
Okay. So and I don't know about you. I grew up playing just like strategy games. I love to think. I like to win in the most complicated way possible. Like, I don't want it to just be like, like I had friends, like I used to go to like, they're like rec center daycares where it's like, it's not really like a daycare because I was in middle school, but like it was like a summer program.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So like every day we'd literally go on like a field trip. But I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day.
I figured you were a Yu-Gi-Oh player.
You
look like it.
I definitely do look like an ex-Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're not the first person to say that, but no, fuck those guys. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're doing better now.
I'm doing much better now. But I picked up the game because of just how intricate it looked. I started picking up a lot of board games at that time that were just, like I started playing D&D at that time, and I wanted something that would like let me think, and my parents, mostly my mom, was very I don't want to say like anti fun but like no, like what's the word, like you remember like in the 80s and 90s how it was just like D&D's the devil.
Yeah, I mean I lived through that.
Yeah, so you totally get it. And so whenever it had something to do with making my mom angry, I kind of wanted to do it more.
Wow, you rebel.
Yeah, I know. So I remember specifically I had a demonic tutor. For people who don't know, it's a magic card, and I had a revised demonic tutor, so it was like the OG devil with the pentagram, and I just remember my mom kind of giving me like a passerby, like a what is that, you know? And then in the same day though, I'm watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. Shout out to the golden years. And did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
No, I'm too old for that, dude.
Oh, come on, dude. I know people older than you that watch it.
I mean,
yeah, so
I'm 40, man.
Okay, well, you know, besides the point, there's a guy on there. I don't remember his name, but
I can barely use my cell phone.
He looks just like the literal devil. Like he's like a pink version of the devil. And that was when my mom was like, "That's it, I've had it. Like this is too coincidental. Like you can't, you know." And
you
so
were like spiraling at that point,
right?
in your life.
I'm just going down the rabbit hole of Satanism, and I'm like 12, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I just picked it up and I just fell in love with it. I thought everything about it was just amazing. Like I found no downside other than people I played. You know, it's the stuff that, you know, like you said, I was doing a lot better than my friends. But because when I get into something, I don't know about you, but when I get into something, like I have to just get into it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm the same way.
I can't be a jack of all trades. Like I have to just be that guy where it's like if my group of friends and I are going to pick up something, I'm not going to stop until I'm notarized as the best one. And that was with Magic. That was with music. You know, when I was doing comedy in Los Angeles, I just tried my best to just be the best, you know? So I just have, you know, we would go to, I wasn't even allowed to go to LGSs. I mean, I couldn't drive myself, you know, obviously, you know, so it was just sidewalk, no sleeves, you know, so yeah, you know,
So my first starter deck, we all bought one. Okay. And I wrote my name on my cards.
Oh, yeah. Oh my
God. So my revised starter deck, I wrote my name on all my cards.
Like on the back?
On the front.
Oh.
So we'd shuffle them all together. Mm-hmm. So I knew which ones were mine at the end. It was like I was like ahead of the game, right?
So you're like, I'll show you guys. Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
He's stealing my cards.
Have you ever and this I actually was talking to my uncle about this, you know, and this is something that we talked about in episode 5. Since COVID, collectible anything has just kind of skyrocketed because no one has anything better to do than spend their money.
I know that pretty well.
Yeah. So, you know, my uncle had a Spider-Man 300 that, you know, I don't know if you know a lot about comic books, but that's the first appearance of the black suit Spider-Man. And he had 2 of them. And in 2016, he got rid of it for like $50, $60. And it's just like, in the same one, you know what I mean? And again, as you're familiar with, $700, $800, $900. So, you know, you said you used to write on all your cards. Like, do you have a specific memory of like looking back at it? Like, if I would have had this card and not script.
I only wrote on my first starter deck.
Oh, okay.
So 60 cards.
Okay. So you didn't have anything heat worthy in that, did you?
I did sell my first Black Lotus for $200.
Wow. Did you pull it or did you buy it?
I bought it.
How much did you buy it for?
I think I paid about $100. Wow. So I mean, you know,
thinking about someone being like, "Yeah, I'll give you a Black Lotus for $100," just gives me goosebumps. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I mean, I can't even fathom what just finding one is. I mean, obviously, not even non-graded, just finding one. You know, what year was that?
It was 97 because I was I sold a lot of my cards to buy a car.
I've been there
when I was in high school. So I sold, you know, a few Moxes, my Lotus.
Oh my God.
You know, so I thought I got a decent deal. So
for people who are unfamiliar, unaware, what he's talking about is there's a specific group of cards that are called the Power 9, and the Power 9 just consists of these ridiculous, overpowered Magic cards from back in the day. They were only printed in Alpha, Beta, Revised. So
Alpha, Beta, Unlimited.
And Beta Unlimited. So what they stopped printing in 94.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I actually pulled a piece from the internet where it was like what was that one of those old magazines that would just talk about like the prices of those cards back in the day?
Inquest.
Yeah. So it said like Black Lotus was like priced at like $85.
I was in one of those magazines one time.
Were you?
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started getting kind of serious about this?
17. Wow. I won my first pro qualifier.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have you always lived in upstate New York before coming here?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So was it, you know, so as you've seen, obviously, I mean, I've never seen commercials for this game. Yeah. I remember seeing, watching YouTube videos of old, corny commercials, from Magic, you know, but they stopped.
They had them on MTV briefly.
Yeah. And,
99 or something.
Yeah. And now I'm seeing them on YouTube. I saw one on Cartoon Network with my little brother.
It's getting trendy.
It's getting really trendy. So, back in the day, so, I mean, this thing must have exploded, especially around between 93 and 95.
I mean, it was very popular. I mean, nothing like today, but very popular, yeah.
So, would you say, in yesteryear, so to speak, like it was definitely like a niche group of dudes that played?
Yeah, I mean, my friends and I, we didn't tell anyone, especially women.
Yeah.
Right. So like in high school, like no one knew we played. You know, we had to play.
It's like a secret secret club.
If you wanted a girlfriend, you couldn't play.
It
was not against.
Isn't that not fair now? Because now you could like the nerd culture is just like the thing.
I mean, we had to blaze the way for that, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. You walked so we could crawl. Yep. Definitely. I mean, when I met Allie, first time she came over to I mean, it's just no secret at this point. I mean, even it's kind of I have it all in that one little corner now. I mean, it was way worse even a year ago, and I mean, I have my poster. I mean, that's probably one of the first things she saw. So I kind of was just like, hey, man, you know what? I mean, I'm cool, I promise.
Yeah. A couple of my close friends that I played with actually had girlfriends that didn't know that they played. And they'd be like, yeah, I'm going... we'd be going to like DC or like Toronto for the weekend, and he'd be like, yeah, I mean, I'm going for like a sports thing or... you'd rather lying about it.
You'd rather tell your girlfriend that you're going to go to the strip club with your boys instead of go play F&M.
It was like against the rules. They could never find out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so was it just like you were just afraid of being judged kind of thing?
The girl wouldn't date you. I mean, it was just a different time.
Jeez, man, that sucks. Man, I've had, and now flash forward to 2015. I've had girlfriends beat me at this game.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, wow. So you started playing at 17. Would you say that when you started, like you knew that's what you wanted to do?
No, I didn't. I just like to play. I was competitive at the time. I mean, I'm still pretty competitive. But it was fun. Like, most of my friends were at home doing whatever. Yeah. Junior, senior in high school, and right. We were like telling our parents, yeah, we're going to drive to, New York City or Boston this weekend, but, a car full of 17-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And that's what we were doing every weekend. We were traveling all to these
awesome, dude.
Pro qualifiers and just having a great time and playing the game.
That sounds amazing to me. I want to do that right now. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds sweet. It's
I can't imagine people doing it today.
Really?
I just can't imagine kids that young doing it. No, it's just a different culture.
Wasn't there like a story about like some like 10, 11-year-old like piloting like a legacy like Elves deck and making it to like top 8 or something like that?
Well, I don't mean necessarily winning. I mean like traveling.
Right.
Like, oh, you go to school, you get out Friday or you skip Friday, get out early. And then you're going to Boston for the weekend to play Magic, and then you're home in bed Sunday night in time to wake up and go to school.
That's a fucking wet dream for me, and I'm going to be 27 this year, dude. I wish I could do that. Yeah. I hate that I have to do my normal job sometimes, I mean,
life only goes downhill after that, right?
So, so you're traveling, you're doing, you said that you won your first pro qualifier when you were 17. How long were you on that, like, consistently doing that circuit?
I played a couple of the junior pro tours. They don't have that anymore, but it was for anyone that was 18 or under.
So junior just implying younger age.
Yeah. Anyone up to 18 could play. Okay. And instead of cash, you would win scholarship money.
Really?
So I played a couple of those, and then I went to the actual pro tour.
That's what's up.
And I played maybe for 4 or 5 straight years. I probably played maybe like 20.
Wow.
I think I qualified for a lot, but I just couldn't afford to go to them. Like, you can't go to Spain or like Japan.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to tell your parents? Or
I did go. Like my first one I went to was in Paris, but I did go to a lot of them, but a lot of I was living on my own, 18, 19, 20, and I couldn't afford $2,500 to maybe just light it on fire. If you don't do well, you don't get paid.
Yeah,
it's not
for sure. I mean, you always kind of, it kind of reminds me of, and this is what we were talking about before we started recording. Kind of reminds me of like this whole cryptocurrency thing going on. It's just like you gotta hope it does something. You know what I mean? Like like if you're so passionate about it, that's great. That's one thing. But I mean, like, I love the game. I've never come close to qualifying for anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different time. Also.
Sure. So when you're that age, I mean, what did your parents think about it?
They liked it. Cool. I think in general, Magic's a good hobby for a kid. It keeps you out of trouble, right?
Yeah.
I mean, instead of like drinking all night, you're traveling and doing something like with your brain.
Right.
whether or not you're actually qualifying for the Pro Tour, you're building friendships and, just enjoying life.
Absolutely.
It's like a lot of my best times were during those years,
Fantastic, dude. I mean, you kind of hit it right on the head. I still to this day make the joke with my mom. She'll tell me about some friend of hers who has like just some shitty kid.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, aren't you glad that like throughout high school I just played this fucking nerd game instead of...
Yeah, my mom would say the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's one thing that my little brother showed interest in it for a while, and I'm just like, dude, like get on it. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, especially now, like you said, back in the day, you had to hide it. There's no point in hiding it now. You know what I mean? So it's like, go do it.
Right.
That's cool. So what made you? So did you just stop just because of the lack of funds?
No, I actually, I guess so. At the Pro Tours, at night, after the tournament was over, a lot of the older people would play poker, and I started playing at a couple of the tournaments, and then I would go home and read and study poker because it was really fun and exciting.
Yeah,
gambling, right?
I love it. Yeah.
I YouTube didn't exist back then or whatever, so I bought a few books and I got really good at poker.
Cool. You still play?
Within a couple years, I actually quit Magic to play poker full time.
Wow.
And I made a lot more money playing.
Oh, for sure. That was that was going to be the first thing that I asked. Is that how'd that go?
It went really well. I played poker professionally for over 10 years.
Okay.
That's actually how I got to the store. Obama had passed some bill, like basically banning online poker. Mm-hmm. So my livelihood was gone at that point. And
wait. So this is, I'm in high school when Obama, so he gets elected in 2008 and then 2012, right? So
yeah,
he goes
so
twice.
2011, they called it Black Monday. I don't know exactly what the thing was, but he basically banned online poker. And
for what reason?
So the online poker, all the sites are offshore. So basically the reason why they did it is because they were getting nothing tax-wise.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's still illegal to this day. It's not illegal for someone here to play. It's illegal for someone to host it.
Okay.
So you're okay if you're playing, but there's nowhere to play because the U.S. government has shown that they're willing to seize anyone's money at any time. So
that sucks.
So anyway, yeah, I lost a lot of money from that. The government seized the sites, domains, and their bank accounts.
Fuck, man.
So, I was doing really well towards the end, making six figures a couple years.
Wow.
The last couple years I played, yeah.
Oh, wow. So would you, I assume if one quick Google search can find you, at least pictures and stuff of you doing all this stuff.
Of playing Magic, yes. Not poker. Poker's online. You're just behind a computer.
Okay, so you only did online. You never did like actual tables like Vegas?
No, I have. I've played in the World Series. Wow. Yeah, I've played a lot in real life, but not like online. Online, you can play 8, 10, 20 tables at once. Yeah. So, you can play like kind of low limit and make $100,000 a year, no problem.
I like to think about some guy like, how like every superhero has like a sidekick with all like these like monitors and shit like that to tell them where to go, what to do.
Well, that was me.
Yeah. So you're just kind of swiveling around in a chair and doing shit.
That was me, yeah.
Wow. And the brain capacity to even focus on that many things. This is probably a dumb question, but like, would you feel like you definitely have like an ADHD personality? Like you just
no. I think my strong point in these games is that I'm very stable. I don't tilt off. I don't get angry.
You come off as someone that has a really good poker face. Definitely. You're very soft spoken.
Yeah.
You don't really show a lot of emotion in a positive way. Whereas
it can be positive and negative.
Sure.
Ask some of my ex-girlfriends.
But no, totally. I was gonna say, but my dad was really obsessed with poker and when I was growing up, and I used to only watch it because I was so infatuated by like the big like glass case of money they would always have. So like I always just would look at that.
I've played in the World Series. So that's no joke.
Wow. So are there pretty crazy payouts even when you're not like at like the are there like tournament brackets?
In the World Series or in general?
Let's just say the World Series for the sake of it.
The World Series you can play all the way down to like maybe a $1,500 buy-in.
Okay.
Which, it just depends how many people play.
Yeah, but at the highest level,
if you win a bracelet, even in the lowest entry, you're still getting probably, $500,000 or $1 million.
What the hell, man? Where's that money even come from? I always wondered that too. Like,
it's all from entries.
Oh.
They take some, they rake a little bit, but they rake much less than the Magic tournaments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You go to a Grand Prix, you're lucky if they pay out like 5% of the entry fees.
Yeah, that was another thing I was gonna say, because obviously you know they cut like the big checks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the last Pro Tour I followed was Cons. No, it was Origins, and I remember because, and actually this is one thing one memory I actually do have with you. I actually have quite a bit, and then we'll kind of go over them when we talk about the store. But you helped me pilot an F&M. It was a red blue mill deck from Origins. It had like Jace. It had, it's fine.
I'm glad you remember.
Yeah, I remember
have no
everything.
idea what
It's
you're
fine.
talking
But the
about.
point is that you literally were just like Miyagiing me before F&M started. Like, no, you want to do this, you want to do that, and like obviously you guys don't really do massive prize pools. Obviously, you're a local game store, but I you know, you see the big checks and stuff like that. But like, what is, I don't know, like what's a, like in your top 8? I mean, are you still making money if you get 8th place
In a Magic tournament, like
Yeah.
a pro tournament,
like a Pro Tour?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I always looked at it like if you make top 32, depending on where it's located, you're either making a little bit or you're breaking even.
Okay.
It depends. I mean, when we were younger, we didn't mind having 8 or 10 people in one hotel.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, I know
you
for
just pay
sure.
for your flight. I mean, I used to have a sponsor, so like sometimes they would pay for my flight or whatever.
Right.
I mean,
Now you couldn't pay me. As I got older, like I, you know, when I was in a band, we recorded like a little album, but for 2 days, we're kids in like high school. I'm in high school, and so I'm not even working, so we had nowhere to stay. But the guy let us stay in the studio, so it's 5 dudes. Like literally, like one night, like we literally drew like straws to see who got the couch.
Yeah.
The other nights, like we're sleeping on the floor.
Yep.
So, but today, no, you couldn't pay me. Like. Well, I'm also an adult with a car, so it's like I'll drive home, or you know what I mean, or I have a credit card, so I'll get a hotel.
A little bit of money.
Yeah, you know. But so you went to Paris when you were how old?
17.
17.
I went with my friend Chetty, who actually owns TCGplayer.com now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Close friend of mine, yeah.
That's a big deal. That's kind of a, maybe you heard of them, you know. For people who don't know, TCG Player is just an online, like one, I would say the biggest online store for, you know, just, I mean, is it just it's Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh?
Every card game. I guess,
so even like the
pretty
obscure
much.
ones,
Wise Sports,
okay,
what Dragon Ball,
that is
all those.
insane, man. So
Yeah.
you go when you're 17. I mean, did you at least proactively save money for that, or like you said, you had sponsors that at least probably took care of your flight and accommodations?
I think for that tournament specifically, I think my parents gave me the money.
That's awesome.
It was like a Christmas gift.
Those are some good parents, man.
And then I think I ended up winning a few thousand, maybe like $4,000. So like it kind of like made me want to play more, because that was like my first tournament, and then I won a bunch of money. So
Fuck yeah, dude!
I was like like a junior in high school or whatever.
Right, so you just thought you were hot shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's awesome, dude. That is so cool. So was Paris the only one you went to internationally?
No, I've been to tons of them. London, Brussels. I went to Tokyo.
Dude, I mean, you're gonna have to.
It was when I was a little older that I didn't want
Sure.
to go anymore, because I wasn't living with my parents. Right,
Right,
So
right.
It's like a rent's due, so I can fly to Barcelona or I can pay rent.
Right.
And it's like, well, if I go to Barcelona, I might win money, I might not.
You might not.
But
yeah, so
rent's due either way, right?
yeah, of course. So would you? So then it sounds like money eventually just became the reason why you.
No, well, yes and no. I was still able to qualify usually for the Pro Tour, but once I started playing poker seriously and I was making, way more money than I could ever make at Magic. I mean, at Magic, I was like, I'd be making nothing, basically.
Right.
Hopefully making enough to pay for the trip.
Right.
I mean, yeah, maybe I've made, 20 or 30 grand or whatever playing, but that's nothing.
Right.
Over the course of however many years.
Right. So, and I mean, it's kind of one of those things too. I mean, unless you are, a Duke Reed or a Reed Duke or whatever, or a LSV, like you're not really.
Being the 200th best player in the world is literally nothing.
Yeah, it's literally nothing in comparison. Yeah.
And
So.
I will say though, poker is significantly easier, in my opinion, than Magic.
So you're getting
which is crazy, because it's so much easier to make money at poker.
You're getting
everyone
more
sucks.
and more excited for it, dude.
Everyone sucks at. That's the secret about all these games, is that everyone sucks. So like if you're decent and you can keep like a calm head,
yeah.
everyone sucks. Even I suck too, but like I just suck a little less.
So it's like I mean, it is a game of wits. It's a game of outsmarting your opponent. I mean, and obviously that's then by that definition, I mean, you're really good at doing that.
Yeah. Well, in poker, I mean, you just got to be, stable.
Would you say you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them? Like,
I mean, yeah, I guess it's just you have the basic strategy. You never really go with your gut. You just follow your strategy.
that's
and
literally all I do. It's like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah,
like,
and you got to keep your emotions in check, big
Yeah.
time. With poker specifically, with Magic, it's important, but not like a lot of the best players tilt in Magic, but it's not as relevant because it's like, okay, well, they tilt and they're 6-0 and they lose, and then whatever, they don't really feel it. They lose and they're out of the tournament because they tilt off their next 2 rounds. But it's not like in poker where you like tilt off your stack.
Yeah,
it's like, okay.
I am such a sore loser, and I think that's another reason why I've stopped from really, because there was a point in my life where I was making, for the age I was making pretty good money, so I could, pay for, like when Modern became a thing. I was in high school, right? 2010, 2011.
I have no idea.
Oh, fine. Well, when that became a thing,
I met you what in 20?
So I was 19 because I was living on my own with a girlfriend, because we went into the store for the first time. I just moved to, it's Avondale, right? That's where the store is. Yeah. So I actually grew up in Avondale. I lived right by it used to be called Underdown Junior High. And like Quinton Elementary School. I don't remember the cross streets. I'm pretty sure it was on Avondale Boulevard.
I have no idea.
That's fine. But I lived there from like 5th grade to 8th grade.
Okay.
You guys weren't really around back then. That was like 2006.
We opened in 2014.
Yeah. So but when I moved back to Avondale, I was super into, like, I was at that phase, and you as a store owner have definitely seen this, where you have younger kids who just make a little bit of money and they get really into this game. They just start wasting money on, I remember I took out $800 extra in my college loan so I could literally buy boxes of cons.
From me?
No.
Oh,
so I actually bought them from...
You suck.
This was before I knew you existed. This was on 51st and T-Bird. This is when...
okay, yeah.
Yeah, you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That store? Yeah. I don't really care for them that much anymore, but I
think it's a good store.
It's all right. Dude,
if you want cards though, you got to come to my store.
You got, and that's what I was gonna get to. So I just moved. I was the first thing, as soon as I unpacked my last box, was that I was like, I need to find an LGS. Went on my phone and I found you guys. I think you guys were just about to close, but it was you and Andrew. It was just you guys. I think it was literally just you guys and me and my girlfriend in the store. And I was just awestruck at how fucking big this store was. Asked you all the questions you guys hear a million times a day. Do you guys have this?
How much is this?
How much is this? And I was blown away. And the literal next day I came back and I bought, it was like an anthology set.
Yeah.
And then ever since then I was like, all my money, it's going to you guys. Like it really was. And I was so obsessed from there, dude. And, I just remember all the stuff that I've bought, and like, like we were talking about when you were a kid, you sold a Black Lotus for $200. Now I've done nothing of the sort, but, actually, yeah, I did. I bought a Sliver Queen and I bought a Gaia's Cradle from you guys way before I bought a Gaia's Cradle. It was $50.
Cheap.
Yeah. And I sold it for $200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck.
Well, I bought Dogecoin at, a quarter of a penny.
So how did you figure that out? So I'm glad you said that, because everyone I've talked to has said that I bought enough between 4 to 6 cents in February when it shot up. So how did you know about it?
I dabble in investing.
Okay.
I've been aware of Bitcoin since it was $1. Never bought it. Never believed in it.
Oof. Ouch.
A whole nother story.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I can sleep at night because with the Dogecoin proves, if I make money on this stuff, I just get out.
Right.
So like if I had bought Bitcoin, like I said, I was well aware of it. People were telling me to buy it at $1. If I bought, a couple $100 worth, I would have sold them at 10 or 50 or 100.
Right.
I would never have had it now.
So you're not a long-term investor.
I am with something I believe in, but yeah,
okay.
No, I don't necessarily believe in crypto. I like the blockchain. I just feel like Bitcoin is a bit like thinking that your Atari is going to be the thing that you use, 10 years from now when people are playing with like a PS10 or whatever.
Yeah, for the record,
are you kidding me?
That's a really good example, because I 100% agree. For the record, I don't own actual Dogecoin. I own Dogecoin stock.
Yeah.
I don't. They're not on like a hard drive, on my computer. I'm the same way. I don't believe that I'm going to go to the grocery store in 2050 and be like, oh, that'll be 1.6 Dogecoins, please. Like,
yeah,
no.
I mean, I think Dogecoin's a joke, literally.
100%. And I had to tell my girlfriend that because, it popped at 75 cents. And then and I'm sure I don't know if you saw, but I mean, the whole internet was talking about it. It almost dropped back down to like 36 cents within a week.
Yeah. I've been following it. Like I said, I bought it at a quarter of a penny, but I sold it and I made like $100. So I mean, I sold it. It didn't even hit a penny.
Right.
So I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
So you're really good at not thinking of shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I think that's a good thing to have.
I mean, I think you think about it a little bit, but you can't like let it own you. I mean, it is what it is, but like, I don't like. I like to hit singles. I don't aim for grand slams. I guess it's like that can be good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're also not in a position where like you need a grand slam.
No, yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not either, but like I had a friend who told me like, oh, my buddies and I were drinking one night and we were talking about Dogecoin and he's like, dude, you should totally put $1,000 in and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, shit, had I have done that when I went to 6 cents, I would have made like 20 grand.
Yeah.
And he's like, it literally eats him up inside. And I'm just like, there's no way you could know that,
yeah,
dude.
That's
you didn't know that Elon Musk was going to wake up one day and be like, hey, you guys, you know what rocks? Dogecoin. Like,
I mean, well, just to give you an example,
Yeah.
my friends were telling me, hey, maybe you should mine Bitcoin with all your computers you had. Because like at a time when I was playing online poker, I actually had 6 computers in my house that had, you remember Magic Online?
Yeah.
I used to have bots on there.
What?
Yeah. So I owned a whole bot network. And I was making, I don't know, maybe like $500-$700 a month off of it.
Okay.
So they're like, hey, you should mine Bitcoin. And I'm like, well, I don't want to, I'm already set for life or whatever. I'm making $500 a month.
Right. Shut up, nerds. I don't need that. Yeah.
So, I mean, had I mined Bitcoin, I mean, who knows, right?
Right.
But I thought I was smarter and whatever, and I stuck with what I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I left a lot of money on the table. But I mean, you can't look back and be like, oh yeah, I could have.
It just makes you a shitty person. I mean, you just kind of lament the world.
It's no way to live.
No.
But
I agree. I pulled out some. I didn't put a lot in. I only put in like $200 of Doge when it was at 6 cents. But when it went to 75 cents, I was almost at $2,000. So I pulled out a little bit, Now and I still have some like on the off chance. I think if it goes to $1, I'm just gonna cut my money and run.
I mean, I'm always wrong with this stuff, but I don't see it going any higher than it is. But who knows? Elon Musk could like say, hey, whatever with Doge or Bitcoin or whatever, and then it goes to the moon. I don't know.
I heard about. I didn't know. Allie told me. Apparently, they will no longer accept Bitcoin because it's like detrimental to the environment.
Yeah, all of this out of nowhere. Like we didn't know this before, right?
But is that true?
Yeah.
Why?
That's what he said. I don't know. I mean, you can ask Elon Musk.
I mean, he definitely swindled because that's crazy. Because I remember it was at what? It was at like 17,000, and then he bought 1.5 billion of it.
Yep.
Spikes, and then he says, "No, we're not doing it anymore."
Then he sells it. Yeah.
And he sells it. God,
it's kind of interesting. It's almost like insider trading or something. I don't know. When you're so powerful that you can move markets with just a tweet. I mean. Donald Trump was like that too.
Right,
I guess. It's crazy. Like, what if you're friends with that guy and he's like, hey, I'm going to tweet about Bitcoin later if you want to get in on this.
Dude, seriously. That is so crazy. I mean, and me being an outsider, I'm like, I would love for someone to, it kind of reminds me of like going back, kind of like Back to the Future style and being like, hey, whatever you do, invest in Apple. It's like.
Total.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a bunch of holdings in just miscellaneous things that you were just like, whatever. If it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
More stocks, like
okay.
I'm an old man, so I have like IRAs and investments. I do invest on my own. I'm novice. I'm still learning about options and all this stuff.
But you find it interesting.
Yeah, it's like a hobby.
Yeah, no,
I make a little bit of money. I probably would make more if I just put it into like a fund and just let it sit there.
Would you say, like, for someone who, I would say even younger than me, so I actually just invested in like a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
So I put in $100 a week into, so 50 goes into like a now, and then 50 goes into like a later kind of thing. I mean, it's probably no secret that that's something that someone younger than me should get into as soon as they can afford even like $40 a week.
I recommend anyone that makes money to put money in a Roth IRA.
Right. And not just in like a savings account.
I'm not an investment advisor.
Right.
So
yeah, of course.
You'll always lose money if you listen to me, whatever.
I was just curious about that because I mean, it sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable and like, I see all like the commercials and stuff that these it's like, oh, when you're 60, it's going to be this much money. So it's just like,
like they can see into the future, right? But
right.
I don't know. That's what I personally do. I put money in my IRAs when I can. You know, luckily I'm making enough money where I'm able to do that. I mean, not everyone can do that, but that's what you should do if you make enough money to do it.
Do you hold any kind of going back to like Magic? Do you hold any like reserve list for your own personal collection?
I don't own any cards. The store owns all the cards.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't have it.
Half the store is mine.
Right.
So yeah, I have a very large supply of reserve list cards.
But there's nothing that like is at your house that's just kind of like a secret stash of just
no.
Just not interested.
Are we talking about the store now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so when Andrew and I opened the store, we both put in our collections and a bunch of money. So like that's how we were able to just hit the ground running. We just had, our collections and our inventory is just so much bigger than the other stores. But I had a large collection because, I had a lot of money playing poker. Whenever someone was selling a collection or I saw something on eBay, I would just buy it and throw it in a closet.
That is such a cool thing to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never be able to do that.
I had bought in like so many insane deals over the years, but I didn't even remember that I bought them. I would just buy them and throw them in the closet. It's like, okay.
What a cool thing to hear,
yeah.
Joe.
So when the time came, it's like, okay, well, poker's gone. Wow. So I'm going to start this business.
So you start, okay, so poker. Now, do you have this idea? Well, no, because you said you opened in 2014.
Yeah.
So, after the banning of online poker, are you kind of in like a hiatus? Like what are you doing?
I got my cards out and I was like, all right, well, I could start buying and selling on eBay or something, right? So right. I got on Craigslist. That's where I met Andrew, actually. I started buying cards from him. And I started buying and selling on eBay and through Craigslist. And before I knew it, I needed help. I was making, I was making decent money, but it was a ton of work. Like just selling online and having thousands of auctions and blah, blah, blah. And like,
so this is a 24-hour a day job, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was a lot less money and a lot more work than poker.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but you found, I mean, it must have been exciting. I mean, you must.
I don't have a college degree or anything, so it was like I got to figure something out. So it made sense. Andrew and I decided to open the shop.
So did you guys at least have like a solid like friendship before, or was it just like, hey man, you're super cool? Like
it was like neither. It was like, hey man, we both have a lot of cards and we both have a decent amount of money. It seems like there's a market here for a shop, so why don't we try it?
So one thing I actually have always wanted to ask personally is how did you guys get such a big space that you did? Because I've never seen a store as big as yours.
We wanted to come in strong. I mean, that's the only way to make this work. Like, you need to be the big fish. So we needed to come in and muscle our way into being, the main store or one of the main stores, and that's what we wanted, and that's what we did. Right.
I mean, so I mean, you're very goal oriented. What do you know what that space was before you guys bought it?
It was a clothing store at one point. It was something else, I forgot, but there was these needles all over the floor that we kept finding when
hypodermic needles,
like clothespin type.
Okay.
like
like a squatter's house,
like the long one with colored top. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think they're used for knitting or something.
Like push pins.
Yeah, push pins. They were in the carpet and stuff.
Oh shit! Ouch.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So it was something to do with that.
Okay, so I mean, I totally get it. I mean, if I feel like in the same situation. I mean, if I, it's funny is one time me and Nick were just having a drink. We were just like shooting the shit, and we were just like, what if we won the lottery? Okay, and we wanted to start a business. 2 questions, Nick. I was like, 1, do you think they would ever sell us the store? Or 2, would they ever let us open a player draw 2 somewhere in like Mesa or something? Like, we literally talked about this for so long, man. Like,
1, yes, we would definitely sell the store.
Right.
2, I don't know. It depends on how much you're going to give us for royalties.
Right. Dude, we
franchise fees.
Dude, at one point, I swear to God, we almost had like a business statement to like propose. Like,
you wouldn't be the first. We've actually had a couple people bring it up to us.
Do you ever not maybe like a second store, but you have to get plans for like buyouts from time to time.
We've bought a couple small stores out, but it's not really something that we discuss with other stores.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, because it won't go any further than this, but I mean, there's a chain of them in Arizona.
Yeah.
and that was kind of the same thing that as a consumer, I was told that they were doing the same thing. So I was always curious, like if they ever reached out to you guys and was just like, hey, do you guys want to get rid of your stuff?
I mean, I think if the numbers were right, I mean, we'd at least look at it. But I mean, it's, we're in it to make money.
Yeah. And
anything's for sale for the right price.
Of course. Absolutely, man. And I think in such a, I don't want to say ludicrous. That's kind of the wrong word. But I mean, these shops kind of remind me of like bars. Where it's like they either work or they don't work.
Yes.
And obviously you can attest to that. And I've always just thought like, I've met people at shops all over I lived in California and them too. It's like, oh, I love this game. I love this, in my head, I've always been like, no, dude, I like making money. Like I love the game, but I mean, if I was failing,
I'm on your side. It's, see, the thing about owning a store is, you'll notice that the most successful ones, you never see the owners playing or.
Right.
I mean, I still play a lot of Magic.
Sure.
I don't remember the last time I played at my store.
Right.
I play on Arena.
Right.
I play just limited, but.
Right. So you don't even do like MTGO or anything like that?
No, I just play on Arena. I sold my all my bots and all the cards and all that stuff. I took a huge loss on that.
Really?
Because when they opened Arena, it like killed the market.
Damn.
Yeah, it sucks, but
that sounds.
Can't always be winners.
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, especially with everything that Wizards and Hasbro's doing, they're kind of becoming more and more self-sufficient and kind of stopping to rely on you guys. And I'm sure that's something that's really hitting you guys hard. I felt I've only bought 2 like Secret Lairs in my entire life. For people who don't know, Secret Lairs they're just a set of cards that come straight from Wizards of the Coast. They are not for sale directly from a store, but you guys, I don't know if you guys, I've seen them be sold, but it seems like usually people trade them.
We're not allowed to buy them. I mean, we can buy them like you.
Yeah.
We have to pay tax and full price. Like we don't get like a discount or
right.
It's a purely direct to customers product.
Even that, I just felt filthy buying. I was just like, I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest gripe is the curled cards, but that's something hopefully they're working on.
Right, I've got a whole bunch of them up there.
Yeah,
unusable.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible, dude.
People open them and trade them into me, and they're bent. It's like that. That's not cool.
Right, dude. I have so many questions about this store. You mind if we take a super quick break before we get back into it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, hold on 1 second.
And now more of the Basement Dweller.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that. So one thing that I've asked a lot of store owners, and I'm sure you get tired of this too. I can't imagine. I would like to hope that I've never been this guy, but I can't imagine the amount of moronic situations you've been in as a store owner. Whether that be, I've heard crazy stories about people who aren't satisfied with their orders being shipped to them, the amount of trade credit you give them. You tell them that this is fake and they fly off the handle. I mean, that has to be something that happens almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any and all of those things have happened. Just most recently, we've gotten a couple like negative reviews on like social media during COVID, and it's like they wouldn't let us walk around the store. They made us wear a mask. It's like, well, I mean,
yeah,
we literally, it's the law. Like,
right.
What do you want us to do? Like,
right.
Things like that.
That is such a lame thing, dude.
It's just stupidity.
Right.
I mean, like,
well, it's just lame because that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it has nothing to do with your goods or services,
And there's literally a sign on the outside of the store that says, what's going on and whatnot. And you came in.
It is weird. It is weird to go into your store during COVID and just having like that,
Yeah.
Khajiit has wares if you have coin, like this.
Yeah,
like that.
That's what it is. I mean, we've kind of turned the store into a warehouse at this point.
Right. I mean, so I've been asking a lot of people this too. I actually went to a non-sanctioned Modern event.
Yeah.
Last Friday. Mm-hmm. So what is the current standing with that? Like, when are we ever going to be able to play in the store again?
So Wizards has said, I believe in June, people are going to be allowed to play. Mm. So these fly-by-night shops, they're kind of at a point where if they don't let people play and do this stuff, they're going to go out of business.
Right.
So they don't mind rolling the dice. Because if people get sick or they get some bad PR or whatever, they're going to go out of business either way.
Right.
And, a lot of this is all political and whatever else.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not something that, and just to kind of, I'm sure you hear about it all the time. A store I went to, you just kind of have that vibe of just that I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
And maybe it is because, that's a good point that you brought up. That it's like, if they don't do this, I mean, what else are they going to do?
I know for sure that's what the case is, at least on some of them.
So I went to the event and I've got my mask on the entire time.
Yeah.
No one else.
Yeah.
Not the owners, not and I'm just like thinking like, fuck, dude, like, so that's when I was, so I don't know how it works as a consumer. So it's like, if Wizards finds out that you're running something,
yeah,
you can just get like, was it like a cease and desist? Like,
I mean, the thing, they don't want you running official events. You're technically allowed to do what you want as long as their brand isn't on the line. I mean, you can't be like, we're hosting Friday Night Magic and it's sanctioned. It's more like, you guys can come play Friday night. We're gonna have a tournament.
Right. It just
it's
so
the
happens.
same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But I mean, why risk? As a store owner, like, why risk getting in trouble or getting bad PR? Like, let's say COVID got worse again. Let's say they upticked again, and everyone's like, oh well, I got sick at so and so's store.
Oh,
right. So now it's all over social media. Oh, don't go there. There's scumbags. They were letting people play, and everyone got sick, and my cousin died or whatever. It's like, you're putting a lot on the line just to let people sit down and
just to make a couple $100 and
yeah. I mean, people think that these stores make all their money on the drinks and snacks, but I mean, it's the furthest thing from the truth, at least in my experience.
Right. Did you guys start doing mail, like actual like ordering through like an online kind of thing during COVID, or have you guys always done that?
No, if you contacted us, you could place an order and pay, with PayPal or whatever, and we would mail it to you.
Oh, okay, so that's always been a thing?
It's always a thing, but we don't care. We just do it for the person. Like,
Right.
we make plenty of money. We don't need to worry about that.
Right. So that's, and that's kind of the thing where in this world, it almost seems like, you've been nothing but successful. So it's like, you've had to have had like some tough times, maybe, would you say? Or have
The
you guys?
store, or?
Yeah, the store.
No, just personally. I mean, working all those hours, the first year, we were working 80, 90 hours a week.
Wow.
I mean, that's the type of stuff that's like, yeah, mentally it's tough.
Yeah.
The stores, we hit the ground running, and it's been very successful. I'm very lucky.
Right. I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, I've seen stores come and go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a big thing is that Andrew and I were both reasonably successful people before we opened the store. We weren't like taking the last of our money and taking a gamble.
Right.
It was more like, hey, we're doing okay, but we think if we open this store, we'll do even better with Magic. I mean, we were already both doing Magic for a living.
Right.
So now we have a physical location. A lot of these stores, the way they work is they end up going out of business because they don't have the money.
Yeah.
So like, you need to keep reinvesting the money. So if you start paying yourself, paying your employees, your inventory suffers. So when you don't need a paycheck, I mean, Andrew and I would go, like the first year we were open, like we basically didn't pay ourselves. We just put all the money back in the business.
Wow.
So, I mean, when you're able to do that, you're going to grow. I mean, it's just like a stock, right? Like say you own a bunch of the stock, dividends usually are reinvested. That's what you're doing when you open a store like this and reinvest the profits. If you pull the money out, you're not going to grow. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely a crash course in what it's like to own a business. I mean,
we were lucky that we were in a position where we didn't need to pull the money out.
mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, that open these stores on a shoestring budget, it's almost like a rock in a hard place. Like, you can't grow,
right?
Because you need to pay yourself,
right?
And you're paying yourself nothing, right?
I mean,
Most of these owners paying themselves nothing,
right? It is literally a hobby to just break your back.
Yeah,
to go to the store.
It's not the greatest living for most people that do it because they don't. They're gamers that are opening a business, and they're not like, they don't have a business degree. Not that I do,
right?
But they're just like, okay, well, I'll just borrow some money from my family or my friends and just roll the dice and
see what happens.
It works out. Yeah, and it can, and it does. It works out every day. But I'm saying, like, for a lot of people, it doesn't.
Right.
And then next thing you know, your lease, you owe a year on the lease, and you got to move out, and you got to sell all your stuff, and it sucks. But you see it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and definitely. I mean, it's one thing I was gonna say is like another question I had is that why you guys never when I go to that store, it's just the three of you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an employee other than the three of you?
No, we've had people help us, sort cards and help us run tournaments, but we've never hired someone.
And that's never been a question of like you needed to.
I mean, I think we could use it, but we're just more comfortable making it essentially a family business.
That's cool.
It's a lot easier with trust.
Yeah.
With that kind of money on the line. And,
right.
I mean, we have a very unique business model.
Yeah.
It works for us.
But I can't even fathom the Fort Knox of stuff that you guys have behind that counter.
Yeah, we do pretty well.
Yeah, you do fantastically well from what I've been told. I mean, and just again as just a fan and of the game and a fan of you guys. I mean, sometimes I would just go in there to kill time and just look at the stuff that you guys had.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always wanted to be. It's you always. One thing with you, and I hear it every time I say the sentence, I hear it in your voice, where we have 99.99% of all singles. And there would be times where I just want to go in there and be like, do you have this? I want to see it.
You can try.
Dude, exactly.
As long as you buy the card, I don't care if you try.
Oh, dude, I can't imagine how many times.
I've had people try, and they're like, oh, damn, I didn't think you'd have that. It's
right.
Like, all right. As long as you have the money, I'll find the card for you.
I don't think there's ever been a situation in my 7 years of going to your store that I had an experience literally 3 days ago. I'm trying to build something, type it in, nothing. Type it in, nothing. Type it in, nothing. It's like, what the hell, dude? So it's just like, that's every time I've ever lived in Phoenix, I've lived in Chandler, I've lived all over the valley. Every single time I've said, I'm so bummed at how far I'm about to have to drive to your store because I know you have everything.
Every day, I'd say a minimum of 2 or 3 people, and I mean this, come in, and they're like, well, I just went to my local store. And then I went to 2, 3, 4 other stores. And I finally made it here, and you had all the cards. It's like, well, yeah. So eventually those people, they just stop going to those stores. Because it's like, you have a 20-card list, and you go to this store, they have 3 of them. The next store has 3 of them.
Right.
Next guy doesn't have any. You can just skip all that time. Just come to my store. We'll have all 20 every time.
And that's what I would tell my friends. I'm just like, fuck, I'm gotta go to play. I gotta go,
So our business model is a true brick-and-mortar game store. It's like old school. Like it's not 99% of game stores now are selling online. They're selling on eBay, TCG Player, their own website. And that's fine, whatever works for you. But for us, we're a local, true brick and mortar store. We don't sell online. So we have all the cards because we don't sell online. Yeah, if we wanted to just make a bunch of money and just have the money, we could post our inventory on TCG Player and just sell it all.
Right.
But by keeping it local, we're able to get all the customers.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Have you come in? Oh, I mean, I feel like every question I want to ask, it's either it's an absolute yes. I mean, but like just coming from me, I've never sold more than $200-$300 worth of cards at a time.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how many people will just come in and just be like, I don't want this anymore. And some of it's obviously worth your time. But at the same time, I feel like for all the diamonds in the rough that you have thousands of people who just bring in these 5,000 count boxes of just nothing.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll give you this much. And I mean, do you say more times than not people are just dissatisfied with what you say because they don't understand how...
I don't think so. I think we still pay more than every other store, or at least we're competitive.
Oh, you're very competitive. I'm saying like in the consumer perspective of like, if you were to say this is what I'm going to give you, would you say more times than not they're okay with that, or they're physically expressing how upset they are at that?
I think the 80 to 90% of the time they're okay with that. We give them about what they expect or more.
I remember this is another thing that again, I'll never forget. I was actually moving to California, and I was that guy. And I came into your store, and I was just like, "Here you go, dude. Like what?" And I remember you were just kind of looking at it, and you're a really sweet guy. You know what I mean? I gave you a story that was kind of sad, but at the same time, like I was just like, "Look, dude, I need money. I'm going to California. Literally gonna go risk it all to try to be like a movie star or a comedian. I have these boxes of everything was like from like 2017." Or like 2015 to 2017. Yeah. Nothing crazy. And you just were just like, your answer, it sounded like behind your answer, you were just like, I'm sorry. It's like, you're like, I'll give you $20 for this. And I was just like, yeah. Okay, that's fine. And so I just kind of reluctantly, but I will say, and this whole episode, I cannot stress enough that you need to check this store out, and I'll let you plug it later, but it's just like, one thing I will say is I've never had the luck at your store that I've had anywhere else. The best stuff I've ever pulled in my entire life because, and maybe not you, maybe back in the day, but most of your clientele and customers are just obsessed with cracking packs.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that it's like crack, man.
We all like to gamble a little bit.
Exactly.
Roll the dice.
And I remember there were times, and looking back at it, as I got older, I kind of learned, like, I now buy singles, stuff I need.
You've grown up.
I've grown up. Well, because now that I've got bills and rent and a car, like I can't just do that. I can't be like, well, I'm out of money for 2 weeks, but going back to my mom's house.
Yeah.
You know, I can't just do that.
I mean, you can, right? I think the average person lives at home till they're 30 now.
Right, dude. And Allie always says, she goes, I don't give a shit what you do with this game. Just make sure your bills are paid.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I came home.
It's a good woman.
Yeah, and I just got a bonus at work, and I just wanted to celebrate, and I went to a local game store, and I bought a Double Masters box. Pre-release, you know? So she's like, oh, that's cool. How much was that? And I was just like, yeah, I was just...
Let's not talk about that.
And I was just like, wow, did you do something with your hair today? You look... And I was just like, $400. Yeah. And she, you know, someone who's not in the game doesn't understand. You know, it's insane to anyone.
Even if she is in the game,
right.
That's a lot of money.
Well, she just started getting into it, and
think of all the dough she could have bought with that.
Absolutely, dude. And like, I just kind of got over that. But I have so many memories of just like, I would be in your store, and I'll say, okay, I'll take this. Look. Awesome. Here you go. Can I have another one? Look. Fuck, now I just burned myself. I had nothing. So I'm like, that has to be so much. Like
that happens a lot.
And it's always younger kids. I've realized. I was at a game store the other day, and I was just getting my stuff, and some kid was like 2 collector boxes of, it was like Strixhaven or something.
Sure,
One of the, and I was just like, I like double took. I was like, you're like 18, dude. And like I looked at him, and like in my head, I wanted to be like, not worth it. Like, don't do that. Like, you know. But as a store owner, it's like, okay, like, yeah, man. What would you say? Do you remember a time when like you like one of the biggest purchases of just sealed inventory that you've had from one person, like at a time?
So you mean
like
someone
one person
buying
came in,
from me?
Yeah, and want to just be like, 2 of these, 1 of these, 6 of those, like, but like sealed, so not singles.
Yeah, there's a couple people, or I don't think that I've seen them in a while, but a couple people that would buy like a couple cases of every set as they came out and just throw them in their closet.
Wow.
But I mean, that's not what you were looking for. That's not the answer you're looking for.
But I mean, but that still perplexes me, because I mean, a case is 6 boxes. Yeah. So I mean, at the time, that's at least $600-700.
I mean, the guy at the shop named Big Mark, I don't know if you remember him.
It sounds very familiar.
He was famous for just opening up 1 million packs and then trading it all in. And then he would get so excited and open up more packs and get excited and trade them all in.
That's crazy, dude.
It's like, dude, you can't win this game,
right,
but here you go.
You're going to lose eventually.
But he's like the happiest guy in the world, you know?
Dude, I get it. I mean, I have friends that'll do that too, and I just say, let me be there and help you open packs. I mean, I'm cool with that. I'm almost kind of like Jones, and I'm like itching, hey, man, you got any of those packs to open? Like, that's so crazy. I've just never been able to do that, but the child brain in me wants to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable.
But now I'm just like, and I try to get into, I had an opportunity to buy a box of Urza Saga, and that came, when was that? 2000? 2001? That was released?
So when did you buy it?
I had the opportunity to buy it.
Opportunity.
Okay. When I was 20. I was 20. I still lived in Avondale.
Okay.
I don't remember, because now it's, way up there.
You should have bought it.
Yeah, I should have bought it.
But you would have opened it.
I would have opened it. So that's my problem.
Yeah.
That's 100% my problem. It's like, I keep telling myself, like, I'm going to invest. I'm going to hold on to cool stuff. But if it sits there all day, I'm just going to look at it all day. Like, it's like.
So you're halfway there. You just need to get a little older, a little bit more jaded.
Yeah. Well, I think the secret is I need to for example, if I can get things graded immediately, so then that way I'm not.
You'd have to really get into that,
right?
Like screwing off the case.
Yeah, I mean, like in case of emergency, break this. You know what I mean? And it's always there in the back of my mind. I think my whole thing, and I think a lot of people can attest to this. It's that, kind of like you mentioned, you either grow up and think of a plan, or you kind of risk it.
Yeah.
On what you want, so you play it safe, or you go big or go home, and I think I've more times than not have just played it safe.
Yeah.
It seems to have worked out all the time, I mean, there's not really a downside to playing it safe, other than kind of a boring life.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I mean, you're a store owner. Obviously, you want to sell off inventory. I mean, but do you have any advice like when it comes to people who want to get into investing, like Magic?
Investing in Magic?
Yeah.
So you need to just take your time. You need to have money available when you find a deal. And you need to really put the work in. Like anything else, you need to know what you're looking at, what you're after, what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just generically, reserve list stuff. It's really expensive right now, but so is everything. I mean, we're in like this huge bubble or inflation. I don't know, however you want to call it. Everything's pretty much max price.
Yeah.
Used cars,
It's
houses,
insane.
rent,
Right.
Magic cards, Pokemon.
Pokemon. So
We've made $1 billion off of Pokemon.
I can't imagine, dude. I saw the episode, or not episode, but my little brother is like most little boys between the ages of like 9 and 12, whereas they just like are obsessed with watching people on YouTube do stuff that they can do. So Logan Paul, I'm sure you heard about. Well, go ahead.
We'll come right back to it. I'll finish this and then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, so once you know, and then you can kind of like put ads on wherever, Craigslist or Facebook or eBay. You can go on eBay, look for auctions. But I mean, basically, you just need to find deals, and that's really the only way, because nothing's guaranteed to go up, right?
Right.
So you either find deals or you buy stuff at cost, or not at cost, at the full price, and then hope. But then, you're investing on the fact that Magic always goes up historically. So, I mean, at that point, you want to invest in stuff that's more limited. I mean, there's no reserve list anymore, but you can kind of figure out what's more rare than other things. Like Double Masters, for example, is a pretty rare set. They didn't make as much of it. Things like that. I mean, if you buy the standard sets with an unlimited print run, I mean, long term probably goes up. But I mean, if you buy these more limited sets, they seem to have more upside, in my opinion.
Right.
But I mean, Magic's Magic, and they reprint stuff like crazy nowadays. So like, there's never really 100% safety in anything.
So you say it's more like a higher risk, higher reward kind of thing, maybe? Like
I think it's more of like there's better ways to invest, in my opinion. Don't take my advice. You'll lose, or you'll lose all your money. But I don't know. I do think you can invest in Magic, and I think it's a way to diversify. But I mean, you're probably better off investing in other things.
Yeah.
It's not as fun.
Right. I think that you need to like separate yourself emotionally from it, because a lot of people I knew, like my uncles, they had friends who never really played the game. Kind of. They played back in the day, but obviously now they've got a wife and kids and a job and stuff like that. But they've got a little bit of money, so they would buy stuff from their nostalgic past because they can afford that kind of stuff. But really, it's just like, yeah, whatever. I hope it gains money. I have no intention of even looking at it. Whereas me, if I buy it, I'm going to want to open it.
Yeah, you can't. If you're like that, you can't do that.
No.
That's just a hobby at that point.
Yeah,
that's not investing. If you want to invest in it, then you'd have to be willing to sit on it, or buy singles.
Point is, put money into a IRA, kids.
Yeah,
it's a better investment.
But I mean, you can do both.
Yeah,
you can certainly do both.
I don't think that you should kill yourself to do it, though. I also have friends that will just live paycheck to paycheck because of this game.
Yeah, and that's probably not healthy long term.
Long term, it's not. But you mentioned Pokemon cards. Dude. I got excited for you saying that, because I cannot imagine in the last year alone how much that game has just inflated at your store.
Yes.
I watched
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I watched this video with like Logan Paul or something like that opening, and like ever since then it's been.
I watched a video of that dude boxing an NBA player.
Yeah.
And he knocked him out.
Right.
He knocked the NBA player out.
Right.
I mean, like, what?
Yeah, like who is this dude? Like, and that's why I thought.
And the guy was literally sleeping.
Right.
Like, he actually knocked him out. Did you see that?
I saw it.
It was unbelievable.
Right, but
and I was like, who is this guy? And I was like, the first thing that came up was like this, and he's fighting this NBA guy. It's like, what? And then I heard he was breaking into the Apple store and like all this crazy stuff.
No, dude.
And now he's like making me a bunch of money, right?
Right.
With this Pokemon fad and.
So, I mean, so you have to, the first thing that comes to mind for me is that, there was a whole thing kind of before, like, you heard about, obviously, like the Black Lotus that sells for 100,000, a million or whatever. But you hear about the first edition Charizard.
Yeah.
The first thing everyone does is goes to their parents' house, goes in the basement and sees if, like, their cards are still there.
And then the second thing they do is bring it to my store.
Yeah. And they've gone through bike spokes. You know what I mean? They're crumpled. They're...
Yep.
You know, people
And
don't seem
they
to
all think it's the first edition one,
right.
even though it's not.
Dude, I can't. Yeah, dude, I can't even imagine. I mean, I've been playing
Every single day. There's people calling or coming in
every
with
day.
their old Pokemon cards. Yeah, it's unbelievable. We're like, we don't want them. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're good.
do you want a Charizard? We got a few.
Yeah, we've got a few. Thank you.
A few hundred.
That is such a cool baller thing to say, though, Joe.
Yeah,
Like, it's just
yeah,
like, I'm
I mean-
good, dude. I don't need your shit. Like,
Well, they're so expensive. I mean, I was about to say overpriced, but I mean, I guess they're not. If that's the market says they're worth that much and people are buying them.
here's my thing, though, is that legacy cards are expensive because they're legacy cards and they're still playable.
Yeah.
There's not a legacy or vintage for Pokemon. At least I don't think there is.
Well, Pokemon's Beanie Babies. It's turned into Beanie Babies. It's no one even. I don't think anyone knows how to play anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that comes in, I'd say 90 to 98% of the people didn't even know it's a game. Like they just buy the cards to open them up.
That was me as a kid. I just thought they
Yeah.
looked cool.
I don't think anyone plays.
No.
I bet you Wizards is regretting selling Pokemon though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
the original. Did you ever consider getting into that in like 94, 95? Is that when it came out?
I had Pokemon. I played a Pokemon tournament one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played. I don't even remember what deck I had, but I ran into, or I lost to a little kid who ended up being like a decent friend of mine now in the tournament, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I've
He
lost.
was
to
just a
couple
little
kids.
kid. He was there with like his dad or whatever.
Yeah, I remember. So
I played one tournament, right? And,
Yeah.
and it was like, it felt really weird because like I was like a, off and on again pro Magic player, and I'm sitting here playing against like an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
It's like, this is the last time I'm ever doing this.
that was like your. But I mean, that's like to this day now too. Because I mean, when you guys hosted Pokemon tournaments, yeah, back in the day. No,
Briefly. We tried.
Yeah.
There's this whole like cult group here in Phoenix, and it's difficult to
That's how I
break
feel about
in.
Yu-Gi-Oh players. I feel like there's just like a niche group of like 20 dudes in Phoenix that just still keep that game alive. And then
Yu-Gi-Oh is really popular. We have some great customers. Yeah, absolutely. But Pokemon, we have some great customers. But the players, we've never been able to break in that scene.
yeah.
They just don't like to play at our store.
Well, I always thought it was just because the kind of like the reason why I couldn't play when I was younger was because I didn't have a ride.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of just the thing.
that
you know?
makes sense. Yeah,
Right. You know.
It always seems so weird though. Like when we did host them, and there's like these 7 and 10-year-old kids, and it's like people my age or people in their 20s playing against them. It's like, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know. It just yeah, does that
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense? It's like it's just weird.
It's kind of like playing with your son, you know, and you guys are playing Xbox together.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is feeling weird, you know.
But it's fine because it's your kid. But I
Right.
mean, like you're driving this way, and like you're going against like a 6-year-old or whatever, and you're just crushing them, and it's like.
you're like good game.
Yeah, like what do you go home to like your mom or your girlfriend, and you're like, oh yeah, how'd the tournament go? And it's
Fucking
like
got his ass.
yeah,
dude.
destroyed like the 7-year-old kid. And if you lose, right? I
Right.
mean,
oh
like
my god, you have no idea.
you're a
dude.
total loser.
Mhm. You have no idea. So
Yeah.
my little brother bought those like Pokemon World Championship decks.
Yeah,
So he bought a couple. He's like, I want to learn how to play and stuff like that. But obviously, he's got weeks of practice with how these decks work.
oh, this is great.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so he teaches me. I remember how to play. The only thing that was new to me was like the EX or like stuff like that.
And your brother's like the 8th person to ever learn how to play the game.
Right, you know, and like literally, like it literally looks like he invented the way he's playing. It looks like he invented
Yeah,
the game. You know,
he may have.
so I'm like, hold on, what's going on? Like for the first time since I started playing Magic, I was just like, I'm about to like just call a judge real quick. I don't know what you're doing. He's like, boom, 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 I win.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you. Like, I was just like, yeah, and I'm like, I can't believe I just let that. And I'm like, all right, let's go play Street Fighter so I can kind of get some points back and like kick your ass, you know. But you know that's cool. That I mean, like the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I just have never had a good experience with Yu-Gi-Oh players, and that's why I stopped playing. They're just kind of
when we first opened the store, we had a really bad crowd. It kind of thins itself out though, right? Now our Yu-Gi-Oh players are great now. Like we just have all the good ones.
I've
don't know.
I've gotten in kind of some arguments at your store with some Yu-Gi-Oh players.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
have you ever had
They have a really weird culture.
yeah,
Like just the way that they treat their cards in the game. And
yeah, it's just I
stuff. They
remember
throw all their cards away. Like it's
Yeah.
just weird. I don't know. They don't have any respect for I'm sure not everyone, but
oh sure, but
a lot of people like they'll open a box
Mhm.
and they'll just take like 3 cards and just leave them all on the table.
Yeah.
It's like thanks, dude.
that's so crazy.
I'm happy, right?
I've
But
seen that too, but it's just I don't know.
Magic players would never do that.
No,
It's like even the commons, they're like grabbing them, you know?
Yeah, I had 10,000 count boxes. I eventually just had to be like on Facebook Marketplace, free.
Yeah.
Just come take them.
You can always give them to me.
Right.
We do buy those.
I don't see. I don't understand why. That's my thing. Is like you have to just have.
You're trying to have every card in stock. I mean, you got to make things happen, make the magic happen somehow.
Oh, I get it. Make the magic happen. But I mean, it's just like those ones that like they'll never see play. They'll never do anything. That's why like it blows my mind when you're like, we'll take them all. I'm just like, what are you gonna like kindle your fires with it? Like I don't understand. Like,
you know, we've sold almost every card. I mean, like at one point or another. I mean, it's just there's always that guy that's gonna come in looking for that giant spider or that Mons Goblin. I mean, it's stupid, but I mean, they have a reason for it.
Well, there's like a niche group too that like I remember reading this thing about how like there's people who just love collecting every single art, you know, stuff like that.
Or people just make like the dumbest deck they can make or whatever. Like they come into my store, they expect us to have it. You know, we have 99% of all cards. So
have you ever come across those employee gift cards? You ever seen anyone try to sell those or somehow get their hands on those? Like I was seeing like when they released Arena. Whoever worked on that team got like a legit like Arena like Saga card, like promo card. Have you ever seen those?
I think I know what you're talking about. You mean like employee of Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah. And obviously they're not for sale, but somehow, some way.
My ex-wife used to work for Wizards of the Coast, so I have a couple of those cards.
Wow.
I think they would give her one every year.
That's cool.
Just one.
Okay, but they're not like in your store and like, or are they?
I don't know. I don't know if they're at my house or if they're. I may have brought them into the store. I don't know, but
I always thought those were like for real.
I have one. My dog got it. Right. And I see it because it's at my house. And like, I'm like, I don't want to throw this away, but it's the dog literally, like, you know, you hear people say that. My dog literally ate it.
Yeah.
It's like some,
sorry.
it's some green card. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but I'm just like, what? My dog actually ate the card.
Yeah. If you just give her some attention, she loves the attention. My people who listen to the show know about Ducky. It's fine. She likes to ruin interviews every now and again. Sometimes she has things to say, you know. She watches me play this game, so she gets it. I had to stop playing Arena just because
she's on my lap now.
Yeah, it's fine. And she loves it. She'll enjoy it for a while. Or she'll try to get up here. It's all right. You said you play Arena. I had to stop, and I tell my girlfriend all the time, I wish there was a chat box in Arena because I have some shit to say.
I mean, the thing, I don't like Arena. I like Moto better, but I play on Arena. It's just they kind of pushed everyone over there.
Right.
But that was one of the things I actually hated on Magic Online is how bad the software was for the chat and whatnot. I mean, the people would just say the most unbelievably rude things to me, and I can't even block them.
Right.
The software is so bad, like you block them and they can still say stuff to you. Right. It's like, are you kidding me? This thing's been out for 10, 20 years, whatever, and I can't even block someone.
I'll never forget my favorite, and I screenshotted it on my old computer, but going back to like Modern, I've only played Burn. My entire Modern career has just been Burn. I have multiple screenshots of people, like turn 1, Mountain, turn 2, Goblin Guide, something like that. And it's just every time. My favorite one is Unga Bunga, I'm a caveman, I play Burn. I was just That's like, funny, wow, thanks, dude. Like,
I don't know why people get so upset with Magic or poker. I've never understood what I mean. Like the guy that you're playing against, 98% of the time or whatever, didn't do anything wrong to you. He just played his cards and he beat you or whatever.
But you know what it is, Joe. You know what it is. As childish as it sounds, I like to win.
Yeah, I mean, I like to win too, but I don't. But when I lose, I don't get mad at my opponent.
No, I don't. But like my whole thing is that I don't mean to get mad at them. I get mad at my own playability.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, you know what I mean? Like, so for example, the last before COVID, the last standard event I did, just bad draws. You know, so I lose. I think at this point I'm like 3, or I'm like 0-3. I think this is the last one. You know, so I lose game 1, sideboard. Game 2, nothing, mulligan, nothing, mulligan.
Yeah,
I go to 4 pretty much. 2 turns, I have nothing. I literally was just like, all right, dude. I'm just like, cool, shake your hand. I just left. I left the store.
Well, that's how you should do it.
Right.
You don't be like, hey, you're
yeah, no. So that's what I was gonna say. Have you ever had someone like almost like throw like hands in your store before?
Yeah, we've had a few of those. I guess I won't get too much into it, but yeah, we've definitely had some times where there was some bad apples or people that just had some bad emotions. I mean, that's typical. We're a bunch of guys playing competitive whatever, and we get upset.
Right. Have you ever had to ban anyone from the store?
Yes.
Okay.
We've had to ban a couple people. Someone, I won't get too specific, but we had someone steal someone's deck during an F&M.
Wow.
Someone that was playing in the F&M stole another player's deck.
Wow.
It's like, dude, we have cameras all over the whole store, bro.
Right, dude. Oh
and
my
like
God.
the thing was, like, I actually called him up and I'm like, hey, did you accidentally take someone's deck?
See, you're so anti-confrontational.
And he's
Joe.
like, well, I mean, I don't want to lose the guy as a customer, right? I want him to do the right thing. And he's like, oh, no, I don't know how that would have happened. And it's like, oh, well, I have a video. I think you may have accidentally stole someone's deck.
Right.
You looked around and then threw it in your bag,
Right.
And he's like, oh, yeah, let me check. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's like, I mean, it's, people are shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, the people are scummy on average. I think, we're just shitty.
Well, I mean, it's like stealing money. I mean,
Yeah.
These decks cost a lot of money.
Yeah. But I mean, humans are just kind of shitty.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
But like when we have an opportunity, a lot of us will take it. If we think we can get away with it, and it's it's not something that I'm proud to say, but I think that humans in general could do better.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not. I personally don't think, to kind of get a little metaphysical for a second. I mean, I personally do think it is human nature to always have that thought. No matter how good of a person you may think you are, there's times where, like, I'm not even afraid to admit. I mean, even like last month, like, you have like these weird fantasy thoughts where it's just like I was alone at the counter, and I was just like, what if I just walked back there and I just grabbed something, I just left, and maybe I just stopped going to this store. I have that thought all the time. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm never going to act upon it, but I think about it all the time. It's kind of like,
it's almost like it's baked in, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It ultimately, though, you make your own choices.
Yeah. I mean, and every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
And nothing is worse. When I was a kid, I used to steal Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic cards all the time.
Yeah.
I've got busted. It's not a good feeling, obviously, because you got caught. And that's kind of the thing, too. It's like...
And it's good that you can admit that. Like,
Yeah.
I think, you can... The only way to be a better person is to learn
from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And be willing to be honest and admit things. I mean...
Right.
We've all been shitty.
Right.
We've all been bad people in our lives at some point. We've done something stupid. We've all done dumb things. We've all
done very
messed
dumb
up.
things.
And yeah, you can just move on. That's all you can do, and just keep going.
I almost got the word counterspell tattooed on my neck. So
that would have been a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. I almost got it literally right here across my neck,
and I have a couple magic tattoos,
dude. But I love your magic tattoos, man, and like it's incentivized me to get my own too. Because I mean, but that's part of your life, what I mean. So that's sweet. I mean, obviously, we're kind of off tracking to like just dumb tattoo ideas, but it kind of reminds me of like how like when you're at like a multi-level parking garage. And you're at the top level, and you're like, "What if I just like did a backflip off this thing?" And just, it's like you always just have those weird thoughts. And
I mean, I don't know if everyone has a brain like yours, but
you never think about that. Like,
it's good that you can talk about these things,
dude. Okay, well then let me just so I've been trying to lose a little bit of weight, and not a breakfast eater. I have this problem where I only eat like once a day, which just kind of destroys your metabolism.
Yeah,
should
go vegan, man.
Oh boy, I knew this was coming. Here we go. All right, we're done.
Okay.
No, like so I started making smoothies in the morning. But I was just blending, and I was like, what would happen if I just like put my finger in there for a second? Like just like random chaotic thoughts that I would never do. But I think about that. So, can I ask what made you want to be vegan? Like as a side note.
I'm into it like for all the reasons, but I mean the thing that got me into it was just the animal rights, the way we treat animals, the way we treat the earthlings, I guess, that we live with. It's really horrible.
Yeah.
And it sucks to admit, but like I said, humans are shitty.
Yeah.
And I know that we'll probably never stop, but all you can do is control yourself.
Have you ever had like the counter? So my whole thing is that like I'm not like some kind of carnivore, like I hate animals, you know what I mean? I just I eat cheeseburgers, but like
they taste great, I get it.
Yeah, but I also
have you tried the Impossible Burger?
Yes, but this is something that I talked about on my last episode because DJ is a vegetarian.
Yeah, I heard that. I was listening to that.
And I was like, man, I hate that you guys have this holier than thou food that tastes just like the food I like. I said, if you guys are going to be vegetarian and vegan, all your food should just taste bland. Yeah, I just make the joke. But do you ever get the counter arguments? Because I've never met a real like, oh, like you're a shitty person for eating meat kind of vegan.
I'm not that type of vegan.
But I've met the kind
I just wish you would be vegan.
I appreciate that.
Like I secretly like hope that I can like influence you.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe 6 months
You never
from now,
know.
I'll be 150 pounds and
There's
just
a
hey
lot
man.
there's a lot of people that thought they could never do it, and they researched it and they're into it.
Do you have people try to bust your balls because you're a vegan? I've met those people a lot of times.
I just don't care.
Okay.
I mean, I'm very confident.
My whole thing is, so I was listening to Joe Rogan and he had Ted Nugent on.
I love Joe Rogan, but he's like the biggest anti-vegan.
Yeah.
I do love it. I went to see him when he was here.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah,
I've seen him a couple times.
I really like him.
And Ted Nugent was just saying like, oh, you know, if you're gonna be vegan, like keep in mind about all the shit we have to do to maintain like the soy plants and stuff like that. I mean that stuff still has to kind of get to you, right? I mean, like
it's just like an uneducated opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Sure.
You know, the cows and environment farming or whatever is like the second leading pollution in the world. So I mean, like, to say something like that is just silly. Like
Right.
he's just like, I don't know anything about this.
Right.
He should just, you know, in my opinion, he should just shut up. But
Yeah. You know, I think what stops me from being a vegan legitimately, I mean, there's been times where for a while I was literally eating nothing but processed foods and fast food and stuff like that. The reason why I've never really genuinely considered it was because of I'm such a picky eater.
Yeah.
To this day, I grew up in a household that it was never, you need to finish this, and if you don't finish this, it's going to be your breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, I lived with my grandma, and she just never cooked. So it was just like, okay, what do you want to eat? Wherever you want. So when you leave a kid to those devices of, I can have whatever I want, whenever I want, it kind of doesn't help you as an adult. And so
It's come a long way. Like when I first got into it, it was like salad every meal or whatever, right? And now it's like I can eat just like you.
Right.
It might cost a little more sometimes, but I can literally eat just about anything. Like it's a million times better than it was 20 years ago.
I mean, and I'm sure you feel great, you know. I mean,
I look great, right?
Yeah.
I'm 42 and people think I'm 30.
I mean,
you know?
it works. I mean, for real, people think I'm 36. So, I mean, I totally get it. What was I going to say? So, like, you said that, does it really cost more, though? I mean, I feel like it could be cost efficient.
If, like, say I want to eat, like literally, like, you name whatever you want and I want to go get that, yeah, it's going to cost me more. Right. But, I mean, that's kind of, like, just the way it is. Because, like, if you want a specific specialty thing, you got to pay for it.
So, veganism is no animal products.
Yeah.
So, like, no cheese.
No cheese, no wearing leather, no fish.
Oh, okay.
Just everything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So like when you look for specific things, like do you specifically look for like the vegan friendly option, regardless of, let's just say, let's throw it out there, like I don't fucking know, shampoo. You know what I mean? Like,
you have to just, you get good. You know, once you're used to it, after a couple of years, it's like you just have a list of what you buy and that's it. But yeah, so you'd be looking for vegan friendly things if at all possible. I mean, like it's not always possible for everyone to do, but like, you know, a lot of it is just doing your best. Like, it's like anything else. You just do your best.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I'm not the type, I'm not going to, like, do my best, meaning, like, I'm going to eat meat accidentally or something. But, I mean, like, say someone that's, like, halfway there. Yeah. They do their best. Like, they try to be vegan when they can. I mean, they're not a full vegan. I mean, I don't know. Right. Like, I support anyone trying to do better, you know. Right. And I think that's good. And then maybe eventually it'll click. Yeah. And they'll be a vegan full-time.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you found the perfect medium from like the like stereotypical like hippy dippy like vegan and kind of just like I'm just a dude that doesn't eat animal products.
I mean, I like to. I don't want to lose friends or family over it, and most of my friends and family eat meat. So I mean, like, it's not worth losing people in your life over it. I mean, I can try to influence them, which, you know, I've been successful with a few people.
Cool.
And, you know, that's all I can do.
It sounds a lot cooler to like convince someone to be a vegan as opposed to someone just like, nah, dude, you got to eat those fucking animals. Like that guy just sounds way worse. You know what I mean? I mean, and I do feel like, I mean, see, that's right. That's where I do feel guilty because there are times where I can't stress enough. I've thought about it. Yeah. I'm just really bad at committing to it.
I get it. I mean, you may never do it, but if you're if you have the least bit interest, then there could be a day where I run into you and you're like, you know what, I went vegan.
Right.
I thought about what you said
Vegan
and I
brothers.
researched it, and next thing you know, you're getting like a vegan tattoo and you're a lifer.
Yeah, no, I got vegan on my neck now.
Yeah.
It's time for Ask Jacob.
Oh yeah, Ask Jacob time. So this one comes in. Just to kind of promote this real quick, and I can't stress this enough. The point of my podcast is just to kind of hang out with your buddy. That's really, we could talk about whatever you want. Just kind of the dude. You want to come over, have a couple beers. Talk about shit. I'm very supportive of my original basis was like men's mental health and stuff like that. Everyone's mental health, but I always felt like that's where I originally started, was that I had a lot of friends who were going through a lot of shit, who never really discussed it. So the original point of my podcast was that if you ever, men or women or anyone, if you have anything that you want to talk about, silly or not, serious, I'd like to take an opportunity to talk about it. Do you ever really do anything out of your own conscious choice, or are we always controlled by some external simulation or motive? That's like some Matrix shit.
So it's like a philosophy,
kind of
free will question.
Like, do you ever feel like, I guess like the question sounds like do you ever feel like you're kind of like in the Matrix pre-programmed to do what life determines that you should do?
So, yeah, it's like it's a free will question, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I think it's like 50% of scientists at this point, or a group of scientists, think that it's likely that we live in a simulation. That's a tough question. I would like to think that we all make our own decisions, but
what it kind of reminds me of is like, you ever hear like the jokes? You said that you're not like a huge social media user, but it's just like one day you're talking with like your kid and you're like, oh, this looks cool. Or like, oh, hey, you're into that? That's cool. But then you're on Facebook and you're getting advertisements for it.
That literally happens to me all the time.
All the time. It's scary. You know what I mean? And so maybe that's the way that I like to perceive the question, is like, do I think that a Coca-Cola sounds delicious right now? Or am I pre-programmed because of something I saw to want that? That's the way I kind of look at it. So I read this thing. I did this whole thing. So like I told you, man, I kind of eat like shit still. It's no secret. I got man boobs, like I'm not in the best shape. When I was literally had an addiction to fast food, I read all this research. It's almost like a casino. They do these things that really just incentivize you to just come back. Or for example, the reason why McDonald's colors are red and yellow is because they're colors that mesh really good together in a way that they draw attention to each other. So when you think of the colors red and yellow together, other than I guess ketchup and mustard, you think of McDonald's. There's a reason why you see the golden arches. It's like, so it's almost like a thing where it's just
and the
like,
government supports it and gives them subsidies.
Yeah,
and
so it's almost
else.
like Pavlovian.
It's very hard to fight.
Yeah, like I see the sign and I'm like, man, hot and spicy sounds delicious right now.
Yeah, I follow philosophy a little bit.
Okay.
Some people think that we have free will and some don't.
Right.
I like to think we do, but I don't think we'll ever know.
Right. Well, I think that in a way, like you're kind of like a poster child for kind of living your own life. You're a guy that's lived a very, to some, avant-garde life. You've never, we didn't really talk about it, but I don't know. Have you ever had like a job? I guess what some people who aren't in your field call like a job?
No, I have. The last job I had was 2000. I worked for a friend. I worked at his game store.
Okay.
So 21 years ago, the last job I had.
And the rest of your life, you've just been self-employed.
Yeah.
Right.
I was a professional poker player, and now I own the cards shop.
Because you wanted to do it.
Well, yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, I haven't taken the typical path. But hypothetically, in a world where you're not making your own choices, there's going to be people that have those paths, right?
Right.
It's like devil's advocate. I'm just saying.
Right. No, for sure. But I think, it kind of like we were talking about earlier in the episode, like
I just happened to get an interesting Matrix pod or whatever.
Right. Exactly. But I decided to play the smart route. I tried to go to college. I didn't like it. Panicked for a little bit. I feel like in that situation, you have am I going to do what's going to make me mildly successful or just mildly content with life? Or am I going to do something that I'm going to attempt to do something that makes me happy. And I
Yeah.
feel like my entire life I've chosen the safe route. I mean, yeah, I went to California, tried to do comedy and acting and stuff like that. It didn't work out. And I mean, I applaud myself for that because it's a hard thing and not a lot of people can do it. But I ended up coming back to a 9 to 5. And so in a weird way, I do feel like my life has been pre-programmed due to things around me, like maybe like situations from my parents who have always just been very like, you work, you hang out with your family, you die.
Well, I mean, when you're a child, you're just heavily influenced by
Right.
your surroundings and the people and
Right.
church.
Right, yeah, well, I could go on a whole thing about that too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I answered it the best I could.
No, that was fantastic. I think that we're literally just like two different sides of a coin. Because I mean, the way that we've gone about our lives. When I was a kid, I used to think, when you're at a certain part of your life where like you kind of realize that you exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like you kind of realize that one day I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm a person.
It's humbling.
Yeah, it's weird, and you kind of get depressed for a couple days,
Yeah.
I used to have this thought though, like, after watching The Matrix and stuff like that, like if this was real, I wonder like if I'm the only real person. And it's kind of like what was that movie with Jim Carrey?
I don't know.
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show.
Yeah, so it's almost
a
like
great movie.
is my life like a Truman Show? Like as soon as it's like Allie is not even in the other room
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
Like she's just pre-rendered code that will respawn.
And
when
it
I
could
come.
be, right?
That's such
and then when you die, it's over.
right.
I mean, who knows?
Right, so it's like it's a mind fuck,
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
like,
I think most people have had that realization at some point where it's like, wow, maybe when I die, everything just shuts off.
right,
the
and it's
game's
like,
over.
Like, or there's like aliens that are just like, well, let's move on to the next test subject. Like let's
My
bring them
World
in.
of Warcraft character died and the game's over. I don't know.
Right. That's now when you leave, I'm just gonna sit at the edge of my bed and just really contemplate. Like, are you real, Allie? Like this.
You're like, am I really an NPC in Joe's world?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Am I just am I a side quest in Joe's world?
Yeah.
Like, am I an NPC at the dude who bags my groceries?
Yeah.
Like it's
a real thing. I mean, and you have no free will. That's just your destiny.
God, that's it, man. What a bummer.
I don't know. I feel like you're living a pretty interesting life.
I'd like to think so. That's why I started.
I've met a lot more boring people.
Yeah, me too. And I think just you need to do something in this life. I think that it's kind of like you hear in every any dude who's trying to sell you a 5 levels of success, whatever, will always tell you that you need to learn a trade or you need to learn something. That's why I picked up music. Because I needed to do something with my time. Because I think a lot, especially kids today, it's such stimulation.
Yeah.
Especially, you obviously didn't have internet accessible at all the time. I didn't either until after high school. And like I feel like I was one of the last.
The internet wasn't even invented until I was at like end of my high school.
Right. So, but it's like now it's like I have nephews or that are 1 and 2, and they've got phones.
Yeah, my kid has a phone.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's 7. He has his own YouTube channel.
That's crazy. Yeah, like I would have never thought that. Like, and it's kind of like I feel like I was the last generation to kind of do both, where I would play video games, I'd go outside. And I feel like slowly that's kind of like
I kind of feel like the world was better before the internet. And a lot of people have argued with me back and forth about that, but the world was so much bigger before the internet. And now it's just like, even we can talk about magic. I mean, magic was a totally different thing before the internet. Everyone had their own unique deck, their own play style. Then the internet comes out and that's like, this is how you have to play it. This is what wins. And if you don't play this, you suck.
Right. Right. And then it's like, my biggest thing is the cyberbullying that goes on.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. If someone says fuck you and I'm playing like Apex on my Xbox, okay, well, I'll never meet you in my life. But now that my siblings have access to the internet and Instagram and Facebook.
Well, it's these losers, they grow balls when they're anonymous, right? Yeah. So it's like, well, I'm this big badass and it's just like some loser at home. And he's like, oh, you're a, whatever. Right. I'm not going to say, but you're a piece of crap and you're a loser and you're whatever. But it's just some actual loser sitting behind his computer.
There's nothing better to do.
In real life, he would literally never say that to you.
Right.
So that's the world we live in.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah. And that's, me
Go on Reddit, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I was, I don't like to lose at games and stuff like that. And I've been there too, where it's just like, same thing. I've known mutual friends that will just talk a bunch of shit you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, now we're in person. I'm like, what's up, dude? You know what I mean? Like,
totally different guy.
yeah. Whoa, what's going on? What?
Yeah. I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
But it's, it's so true. Like when you're anonymous, people just treat each other like crap. Men send pictures to women or just say stuff to women all the time they would literally never do in real life.
Never. Dude, that is so crazy.
I mean, just people suck. And, it goes both ways, but I know I've heard a lot of guys doing it to women specifically. And
I was actually talking to, me and Allie were kind of discussing, like, what's one of, like, the worst, like, interactions you've had with either, like, a potential suitor or, like, stuff like that. She was telling me about, she met some guy, like, on, like, Tinder or whatever a couple years ago. It's like, as soon as you get, like, I don't know, have you ever used Tinder?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, you always have, like, the talk, and then, like
eternally single.
you get, like, but then you get, like, the phone number, and that's when it's, that's when you're kind of pushed past the
first. You can't send pictures on Tinder.
Exactly. So she was
you never know what type of dick pic you're going to get.
Dude, and she was like, she got one, and I was like, has that ever worked? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, yeah, like, I can't imagine, like, what are you hoping to get?
Right. But I mean, it's
best case, they're like, oh, nice dick. Let's hook up or whatever, right?
Right, I guess. But
it's like you're shooting your shot. It's like, this is all you got.
That's
like,
your shot?
Yeah, that's your shot. It's weird.
You would think that the statistically a business model is that if it didn't work, people wouldn't do it, but people keep doing it.
It's just how dumb everyone is. The average person's just a moron.
Yeah.
And like they're like, oh, I have no personality, so I'll just drop my drawers and just take a shot and see if it works.
Once again,
I'll do it to every single woman I talk to, and eventually one of them will be like, all right, well, why don't you come over?
And then they come over, or they don't, and they're just like, like you said, it's like it's a completely different thing when they're in person.
Yeah. I don't even know, but I mean, that's just disgusting.
I have had, when I was younger, I had like, internet girlfriends.
Sure.
And like when you finally meet them, like in person, you're just the most awkward.
Yeah, they very rarely look like their photos either.
Yeah.
We could do a whole show just on internet dating.
Absolutely. I actually used to tell the joke.
I've got all the experience.
Oh, I bet. I used to tell Allie all the time, like our first date when I picked her up, I was just like, please don't be a scary dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank God.
I've had some nightmare stories.
Oh my God, yeah. We'll definitely have to say it. I mean, I would definitely. You're gonna have to come back on. I mean, even like I would love to dissect more of just like your trip. I mean, you must have had a million stories from going overseas, even if it's for a card game. I mean,
yeah, I've had a lot of good times.
Right. So I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you'd say that you're pretty. I guess you'd say you're content with you, like in 2021.
I mean, I think that's all you can do is live your best life or whatever. Learn from your mistakes. I don't know, but yeah, my life's great.
Awesome, man.
I'm lucky.
Right. You want to go ahead and plug the store?
Yeah, the store is called Play or Draw. It's in Avondale, Arizona. We have 99% of all cards.
Mm-hmm. What are the hours?
12 to 6.
And then you guys are closed on.
We're closed Wednesday and Thursday every week.
I feel like that's a tradition now because I feel like it's always been like that.
Yeah, but like sometimes we'll be in there working on like one of those days, and it's like there's still like 5 guys that show up. So I mean, like, I can't even imagine how many people show up every week.
Yeah.
When we're closed, I feel bad. It's like people drive from like Gilbert or Tucson or whatever. It's like, all right, we drove all that way and you're closed.
Yeah, that's I've done that. I've done that with you guys all the time.
I think everyone's done it.
Yeah.
I haven't done it, but everyone else.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. I mean, you haven't had to go to another store in years, so I've
been to a couple stores just for fun, but
you ever like secret shopping kind of
thing? No, I just go in. Just chilling with friends or whatever.
Is there like a chamber of commerce for like LGS owners?
No.
Kind of like a niche, like you guys.
No, most of us know each other because we all used to play Magic together back in the day. But I don't know. I think for the most part, it's a pretty respectful community, and we'd probably help each other out if we had to. But for the most part, it's like we don't really talk much.
I always thought it was like if like someone gets like robbed.
Yeah, we have that. We have a channel for that.
Right. Like kind of like an APB, just like, hey guys, be on the lookout.
Yeah, we've helped a couple people out, but I mean, it's not really used for much else besides that type of thing.
Right. We'll go ahead and call it here. Obviously you can hang out if you want still, but
sure.
I always lose track of time. Like, honestly, to be honest, like I mentioned before the podcast, you're the first like non-friend that I've ever like interviewed for this.
Yeah.
So some of them have gone almost 3 hours. I'm like, okay, I
Wow.
gotta but like literally, even like right now, I was worried. I was like, okay, minute 30 comes by. Are we still gonna be talking? I was
Yeah.
like, I just, I hope I don't ever want to come off as like boring or like annoying, so I hope I did a good job.
If you're talking to me, I had fun. Yeah.
Oh, good. Awesome, man. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Everyone check out Player Draw in Avondale. 99% of all singles closed on Wednesdays, Thursdays. Don't lead by my example. Make sure you call them. Joe, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Thanks for coming down to the basement. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave a rating and review to help other people find out about the show. Got a question? Email Jacob at tbdmanchild@gmail.com or find him on Instagram at basement_dwelling_Jacob, Twitter at tbd_Jacob, and YouTube, The Basement Dweller. We will see you real soon.